Hello friends, my name is Lorenz. I'm the co-founder of Sutra.co, the platform to deliver your transformational learning experience. Today I'd like to talk about understanding your customer. There are many different terms for this: ideal customer, avatar, profile, persona. Ultimately, it's about being very clear about who it is that you are serving with your work. If you are, like me, a heart-centered creator, it can be easy to think that everybody wants and could benefit from what it is that you're offering. And at some level, you might be right in the sense of if what you're offering is an opportunity for people to feel deeply connected to each other, for people to feel heard, seen, or a sense of belonging. These are all basic human needs that every human being on this planet ultimately can benefit from. At the same time, these are not necessarily what people are often thinking about. What people are thinking about, what their wants are usually the practical challenges of their day-to-day priorities, which might be taking care of their family, delivering on the expectations of their work, or somehow making enough money to be able to provide for the lifestyle that they have. These are the things that people want, and if you're offering something that speaks to what they want, that speaks to their daily as-lived reality as a complex human being, then you have a much higher chance of actually communicating to them, of actually resonating with them. The work that you offer represents a possibility, and your ability to manifest that possibility, to bring that possibility to fruition, is a function of your ability to communicate clearly with the person you are trying to reach. So it's very important to understand who that person is. The more specifically you can understand that person, the more specifically you can speak to what they want. And in that context of what they want, you can deliver what they need, which might be the connection, the belonging, the community that you are creating around your work. So what we're talking about is your ability to bring this possibility to fruition, your ability to truly touch people's lives with whatever it is that you have to offer by deeply understanding the people that you are working with, by bringing a very deep quality of empathy into what it is like to be this person. So I'm going to offer you 3 things that we have worked with that have helped us a lot with our own process of this understanding. And the first is what might be called stakeholder interviews. Just going out and actually talking to these people, actually asking them questions about, what are your priorities? What's important to you? Why are these things important to you? What have you tried in terms of reaching these goals? And what are your biggest challenges? Now, when you're asking these questions, you want to be really careful about how you're asking these questions. There's a great book out there called The Mom Test, and it's all about asking questions that are based on people's past behavior rather than the future. So, for example, if you ask a person, would you be interested in a program that might help you lose 10 pounds in 10 days? The person might say, sure, sounds great, I'm all about it. But if you ask them instead, how many times have you exercised in the last 2 weeks? Right? So on one side, you're asking them about a theoretical desire that they might have that may or may not translate into their interest in your program. On the other side, you're asking them about their actual real-world behavior. If they're interested in losing weight, but they've not done anything towards that, then they may or may not actually sign up for a program that you might be offering. So your goal in asking these questions is really to understand who they are. What are they challenged with? What is their behavior actually like? How do they actually operate in the world? So part of that might happen through a call over Zoom or over the phone. Part of that might happen over a survey. If you have a mailing list of, say, a few hundred or a few thousand people, it's great to send out a survey with questions like this to get a broad view on the information. And then you can follow up with, say, 5 or 10 people and actually do a call to really begin to unpack these questions at a deeper level, and also listen for specific language that people are using, particular terms that may be echoed between people that will begin to come out at you, and that language can inform how you communicate with that audience. It's what we're really talking about is how to get to a deeper level of authenticity. We're all human beings, we're all extremely complex, And we communicate differently with the different people in our lives. So when you can be very clear about who it is that you're communicating with, you can find a way to more authentically and more clearly communicate with that audience. The other side of this is really understanding how your audience experiences you. What is the listening that they have for who you are? And this also involves an interview, but a very different kind of interview than what I was talking about. I would not bundle these two interviews together. This is a separate interview process that you might do with 5 or 10 people in the community that you are working with. And the questions you might ask are, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are areas that I could improve on? If there was one thing that I could improve that would dramatically change the results that I could offer you, what would it be? How would you describe me to another person? Really creating a space for that person to very honestly tell you how they experience you, both the positive and the constructive. It's so rare that we give an opportunity to people to fully express themselves about how they experience you, and for you to really receive that so that it can inform you in terms of, well, how do these people perceive you? You're offering them this value, you're offering them a potential solution or something that they want to accomplish, but how do they experience your capacity to deliver on that? So this kind of interview process can really open up a huge territory for your self-awareness in that context. Finally, what I'd like to offer you is that all of this is a prototype. All of this is a work in progress. Your ability to communicate to the audience, your understanding of the audience, exactly who the audience is, the offering that you have to the audience, and also how that audience experiences you. All of that is continually emerging and evolving. None of it is fixed. And when you engage in this kind of process of inquiry, whether it's through stakeholder interviews or somehow observing your audience and understanding more and more deeply their needs, all of this informs the work that you do. So you might take all that and say, create a registration page for your offering with particular language, and then see who signs up for it. If nobody signs up for it, well, that's a lot of information right there about the way that you're positioning and describing your offering. You might actually go out and speak to some specific people and say, well, how did this communicate with you, and gather some more insight. Or if certain people sign up for it, you might ask them, why did they sign up? Or at the end of the experience, ask them, what was the value that they got out of that experience? How would they describe it to somebody else? Gathering as much information out of all of that to understand more deeply, more specifically, how what you offer is adding value to the person that you are offering it to, and how that person experiences you and your capacity to offer them value. All of those things are continually evolving, they're continually emerging. And what is being offered here is just an approach to learning, to continually learning about all of that, so that you have the capacity to add more intelligence, to gather all this data to inform the work that you do, to be in better service to the people that you are serving. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video has offered you some sort of value. If you know anybody who is out there, a heart-centered person bringing their work into the world in service of transformation, please share this video with them. Thank you so much for watching. Much love.